Okay.
And I might add as well, I've got other arguments, right? I've got other arguments like the moral argument, the argument from the applicability of mathematics to the physical world, the Leibnizian cosmological argument, the ontological argument. So there's a lot more than what was on display here this evening.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Do you feel he's answered? Well, very, very briefly, because there are others who want to ask, but...
Okay, so yes, you have many arguments and yeah, to fall back on. If you were going at, like, supposing that you had a defeat of the Holy Spirit witness, that some natural explanation, for example, then how far would you go on faith alone?
Okay, now see, you're still asking your psychological questions.
How far should you go on faith alone?
I think that given that the Holy Spirit does bear witness to the truth of the Christian faith, you should go all the way with the Holy Spirit. Alvin Plantinga talks about an intrinsic defeater of defeaters. If you have a defeater of a belief that you hold, in order for you to continue to rationally hold to that belief, you need a defeater of the defeater. Is that clear? If you hold to a belief and somebody brings a defeater against it, to continue to believe that rationally, you need a defeater of the defeater. But what Alvin Plantinga points out is that some beliefs may be so powerfully warranted that they are intrinsic defeaters. That is to say, the warrant for the belief itself is so powerful it intrinsically defeats any defeaters brought against it. And he gives the example of a person who is accused of a crime that he didn't commit, and that he knows he didn't commit, but against whom all the evidence lies, so that a jury of his peers, going simply on the basis of the evidence, ought to convict him, because all the evidence is against him. And Plantinga says, if that happens, am I obligated to believe that I did commit the crime after all? Well, he said, obviously not. My knowledge of my own innocence is an intrinsic defeater of the evidence that has made it look as though I have committed the crime. And in the same way, I would say, in my view, now this is my view, I would say that the witness of the Holy Spirit is an intrinsic defeater, so that even in the face of unanswered objections, a person is rational and should continue to believe in the Christian faith. And I think this gives tremendous encouragement and hope to persecuted brethren who are living, for example, in communist countries like the former Soviet Union or North Korea, who have no access to apologetic materials or books, or people in Islamic countries that are persecuted, have no access to Christian materials. These people manage to have a rational faith simply because the Holy Spirit so powerfully warrants to them the truth of the Christian faith that it intrinsically defeats the defeaters that Marxist propagandists and Muslim clerics bring against them.